right, we have Eryk Anders back on the show, and as everybody else can probably attest to, I wish we were talking about his upcoming fight in Portland against Krzysztof Jotko on April 11th, but as you've seen by now, the event has been postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so I wanted to have Eryk on the show to talk all about what's going on. Eryk, how are you, man?
Man, doing awesome.
It's great to have you here. Obviously, a pretty tough conversation to have, I'm sure. I mean, this pandemic has shut a lot of things down. A lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are out of a paycheck right now. I know that it's completely out of your control, but how disappointed are you that this fight isn't happening on April 11th?
Man, super disappointed. Put a lot of hard work, time, and effort into getting ready for these fights. So, kind of got shut down a little less than a month before the fight. So, that's when the grinding is really gets going. So, it is what it is, though, man. Like you said, it's out of my control, out of your control. So, we're just playing it by ear,
So in a way, the timing almost a little bit better that this is happening. Like if this whole outbreak and pandemic started like 3 weeks later, you'd be in a much different position right now.
Yeah, I cut a pretty good bit of weight. So, I'm glad if it was going to get canceled, it happened now and not on fight week like Woodley and them got.
And Dana and the UFC, they tried to make this happen. They tried to move the event to Vegas at the Apex. And, Dana's faced a lot of scrutiny for trying to keep this train moving because of the coronavirus and, and the chance that you guys and gals could get infected with these fights. Like, what is your take on this situation as a guy who is part of the organization and a guy who had a fight scheduled in the middle of all of this?
Man, I was getting ready to fight. I was down. They moved it to the Apex and, cool with me. I think that if it was able to happen in a safe environment and people weren't, I just don't think that he knew like how contagious this thing was and how fast it was spreading. So, at no fault to him, I think all the fighters who were scheduled to fight wanted to fight. I haven't heard anybody say that, oh no, I'm not getting on the plane or I'm not going to the gym or nothing, So, I just left the gym and I'm at the doctor's office now, about to get a physical and some blood work done. So whenever I can fight, I'll already be ready.
How are you sort of handling all this? Like some people are just, it seems like you're outside, you're living your life. Some people are sort of locking themselves in the house. Others are just trying to be normal, kind of like what you're trying to do right now and not change too much. How are you handling this all?
Very fortunate with the life I live. I don't have to change much at all. Our gym is closed, so only our comp team trains. Because as soon as they say we can fight, guys are gonna have fights coming up immediately, including myself. So everybody's just trying to stay ready, so that when the phone call rings, when you get that phone call, you're ready.
MMA, combat sports, as you know, fighting for the UFC, it's not like Major League Baseball and the NBA. There's no guaranteed contracts and guaranteed money. You get paid when you fight. So I'm sure if the UFC can, they're just going to try to rebook this fight as soon as possible, but putting pen to paper, having a date circled on the calendar, and then it's just gone like this. Does this sting quite a bit for you on like a financial end?
No. I mean, yeah, of course, I'm missing out on the paycheck, but at the same time, me and my wife, do really well with investments and things like that. So, fighting isn't our only stream of revenue. She works, she runs a business, she's an entrepreneur. And, we got other stuff going on with our money. So, our money's making money right now.
Do you think this is a good lesson for young fighters up and coming, especially who just got into the UFC, to be smart with their money? Because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. There's always that lure to like, especially when you're young, to go out, spend your money on alcohol and a good time, rather than put it away, struggle for a little bit longer, and then in the long run, at the end, then you can have fun. So, I just hope that they take advantage and learn the lesson, because right now it's just postponed. But at some point, and you never know when, being an athlete, it's all over. So, stack your bread, and then when it's all over, you'll have plenty of it coming in, and you can do what you want then.
I'm not sure if you're part of these discussions at all, but has there been any conversation in terms of getting the fighters on this card, their show money, getting anything for this between you and your team that you're aware of?
Man, I haven't heard anything about compensation or anything like that. I think the UFC does a good job of of helping their fighters out, like, you know, when things like these do, like things like when someone drops out of a fight because of a bad weight cut or they get sick or whatever, you know, sometimes they compensate the other fighter who showed up, you know. So hopefully they do something like that, you know. If not, like I said, you know, I don't know about everybody else, but the Anders household going to be straight.
So the plan is, you know, let's get this fight rebooked as soon as possible, try to get the same opponent, new date, new location, everything else still the same for you.
Man, I'm just looking to fight, you know. If, you know, for whatever reason they say y'all can fight on this day and he doesn't want to fight and they give me somebody else, it's whatever. But, you know, rest assured I'm going to fight in my earliest opportunity.
A few weeks ago, Israel Adesanya fought Yoel Romero, and it was a really bizarre fight, especially after we saw with Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. What did you take away from the fight between Adesanya and Romero at UFC 248? Were you surprised it went down like that?
I'm surprised Romero fought the whole fight like that. You know, the first two times he fought Whitaker, he kind of did the same thing in the first 3 rounds and then gave him hell in those last 2 rounds. So that's kind of what I was expecting with Adesanya. But, you know, he just really didn't do much. You know, a guy with wrestling of that caliber, you know, at least mix it up, you know, up and down, attempt the shots, you know, whatever. I'm not telling the guy how to fight, but I think that he definitely should have done more.
What was more surprising, the way that fight went down or Tom Brady leaving the Patriots to go sign with Tampa? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But, you know, Tom Brady's human, you know. And I think a lot of times guys, like, you never see athletes retire in their prime. There's only been a handful of people to do it. Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, like they don't do it. So, you know, he may be a little over the hill, man. I think he's still got a little left, but, you know, probably not going to win too many more Super Bowls in Tampa, you know?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm here in Massachusetts, so it's kind of a bummer way to start the day. But at the same time, like, what else can he do as a Patriot? There's nothing else he can do, really. Like,
I mean,
go get a challenge.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think sometimes it's better to retire the king of the hill, you know? I know he didn't win a Super Bowl or nothing last year, but, man, he'll always be forever remembered as a Patriot. And I would imagine that when he's done with Tampa Bay, he'll sign like a 1-day contract with the Patriots to retire as a Patriot.
Yeah.
Do something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. But onwards and upwards, man. I wish we were talking about your fight, but I think you're handling this as well as you can, and I think this is a great lesson for young fighters like we talked about. You know, don't just go crazy and buy the cars and the houses. Like, spend your money wisely in case something like this happens. And like you said, it is what it is. Hopefully everyone can stay smart and vigilant, and we can move on sooner rather than later. But I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes, Eryk. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find you on social media, shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. You know, you guys can find me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Eryk Anders, ERYKANDERS. Shout out to Infinite CBD, Rev Gear, NutraFX, FX Ups. You know, keeping things going, man, even in these kind of hard times.
Awesome, man. I appreciate the time. All the best to you. Stay safe and keep those hands clean, man.
Hey, appreciate it, brother.
Take care.